Are you frozen? Is it just me? I'm not hearing anything from him.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Okay.
Barakat. Is Barakat there? Can you please find out what's happening with Emeka and Yemisi?
Okay.
I think they seem to be having trouble. Did you send Emeka the onboarding email?
Yes, sir.
He says he doesn't have the link. I'm seeing that chat on the group right now.
Confirm.
Yeah?
He confirmed the email already. I don't know why he said it.
You know, he was not in the first class. So when the response was he should use the same link, he wasn't there by then.
Well, I called him already and I told him.
Okay, call him or send him a message. Talk to him and confirm that he can join now, yeah?
Okay, sir.
Adekunle, can you speak now?
Yes, sir, I can. Can you hear me better, sir?
Yes, it's better.
Okay, sir. Good afternoon, class.
Good afternoon.
Okay, sir. So from the last class, you introduced us to facility management. You spoke about the definition. Like you told us facility management is an activity that facilitates, promotes, and enhances the performance of the core functions. You also told us about hard and soft services. You made mention of hard services being the building and the services put into those buildings, like the AC, the fire services, the alarm systems being in place. And you made mention of the soft services being the car park, the pest control services, and so on.
Okay.
You also spoke about the core competencies.
One. I know you if I ask you to recount the whole class, you can, but give me one highlight. What strikes you the most? One. And that's why I give you 1 minute, okay?
Oh, okay, sir. Okay, sir.
That's our tradition. All right.
Okay,
Imeze.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. Yeah, my name is Chimeze Orisakwe, and just a quick recap of what we learned in the last meeting. I think we were introduced to facility management, and I was made to understand that facility managers ensures collective space and ensure that the workspace is safe, healthy, and sustainable, and also productive. And also, we got definitions from IFMA and BIFM, and from there we now move forward to the two types of FM activities that we have. That is the hard services and the soft services. Mainly the hard services are particularly those ones that are attached to the buildings, like the air conditioners, the generators, and also the soft services like the security services, the cleaning services, more or less like an external body attached to the facility. And we also
for the people, you give soft services called occupant services because and for the people, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right.
And also then when I move
on. And also again, your and also is enough. Enough and also.
we moved over to the 11.
If we allow you to finish with all this and also, the person who is going to come last, he's going to invest for you. So calm down.
Let me just go straight to the point. Let me just be hitting it, you know. The 11, we talked about the 11 FM competencies, which comprises of communications. Talk about emergency preparedness and business continuity. We also talk about operational maintenance, leadership and strategy, finance and business. Talked about project management, quality, human factors. Talked about technology. Talked about sustainability. Talked about.
We're going to spend today again on those things. All of them are going to deal with them with more details. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Chimeze, for that highlight. Everyone, please note, when we are doing the highlight sections, you want to bring out one thing out of the 100 things said in the last class that struck you the most, okay? The reason we want to bring that out is we want to get a sense of what you can use right now from that class that you just finished, okay? And how it's going to affect your work. That's basically why we do the highlights. And then if you have a question, you can also bring it without opportunity. Emmanuel.
Okay, good evening, sir.
Good evening, welcome.
Yeah, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, your audio is good.
Okay, so what I learned the last class is that one of the major key elements for a facility manager is just to create an enabling environment for the people. Do you get that, sir?
Yeah, sure, that's good.
Yeah, so the person has to deliver the right place for the people to be able to work.
Okay, super.
So that's my takeover, sir. Thank you, sir.
That's good. Temitope.
All right, sir.
You're muted. Temitope, it's your turn. Unmute and tell us your takeaway from last class. Temitope Oguride. You will see a red sign in your Zoom that looks like a mic with a cross. Just click on it to unmute. Or if you're on a computer, press your space bar down. Are you on a computer? Can you type? Temitope, you're still having difficulty speaking to the class. Chris, let's hear from you in the meantime.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Okay, one of the key things outside what others have spoken is a service disruption notification, where you make an analogy of how you were stuck in a hotel bedroom without water. It gave me a lot of insight as giving notification on what may likely happen.
Very good.
So that you don't take your clients unaware.
Very good.
So many
Thank
others.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Record keeping of asset record keeping and some other things.
Very good. I think that's a very practical takeaway. That's kind of takeaways I like in the class, right? Some of us have an issue, we run to go and start fixing the issue. What we have taught is that you don't, no matter how serious the emergency is, you notify people first. Except life is threatened, maybe electrical shock or flooding, you isolate and then you communicate before you go and fix. Never fix a problem when that problem affects people who have not been notified, not been communicated to. And I gave you that template. Use that as your standard template so you don't provide less information or too much information for the issue. Thank you, Ibrahim.
Good evening,
Good
everyone.
evening.
Actually, as a whole, because my account is not in this facility, I'm working as a marketer. So I can say this is my new experience. But based on what we discussed day before yesterday, he mentioned that they still try to call the person, maybe that person will do it differently. But your response, which was after they evaluate something twice, the best thing to do as facility manager is to get a new one. That is a key for me. Then the second one is as a manager, I think the previous person talked before me, he said it. You understand?
Yeah, sure.
I can't remember.
Notification, the last person about notification, communication to your clients.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, thank you. That if you want to do a particular project in an environment or in a facility, you should notify the owners or the tenant lives in that position. So that's key for me too. All right.
Thank you. Thank you. That's very good, Ibrahim.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that even though you are new to the profession, learning all of this one by one, you are still able to pick out something significant. And that's something about FM. FM is multidisciplinary, which means there's something in what you're doing and what you have been learning that is relevant to facility management. Well done. Mr. Tom, you still have an issue with naming your screen, your Zoom app properly. I'm still seeing N as your name on Zoom. Tom, right?
Yes, this is Tom. I think I have that issue which I'm trying to settle.
There is a bar, the Zoom bar. If rename is not there, click on the more. All the other options will come down. You will see rename as one of the options in more. It's to allow you actually type your name, full name in that place in place of N.
All right, let me check that.
Okay. Christian, please give us your takeaway from the last class.
I trust you all can hear me.
Yes.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Okay, yes. Well, my take from the last lecture is based on the FOES, which is the Facility Operation Execution Strategy, and that has to do with the manpower, resources, and also the KYC, know your customer. So I could actually just get some basic clarification as to the manpower explanation that has to do with having the right kind of people at the right time to do the right job. So and also you talked about having a pool like a pool avenue of manpower resources, whereby when you have an extra job, you don't need to make use of the staff you have on ground of manpower resources, where you can just go there and get their basic contacts, and then you keep in touch with them to be able to get their presence on ground to join you up on a particular job or extra contract job. Yeah. So
Sure.
and also you talked about the element of an FM operation that has to do with places, process, and technology. So and I would still really want to, though I understood some certain things you actually listed in terms of technology that we need to, as an FM manager, that you need to follow the trend or dynamism of technology, because there are so many technologies that keeps coming in every time. So we need to follow the trend and then make sure we get ourselves equipped and adapt to that particular trend of technology, so that we don't get to fall short of what is trending and what's not. So I would still really want to get more insight on that particular aspect. So that's just my take on from the last one.
Thank you, Chris. There will be a whole day for technology, so don't worry. All of that will be sorted out.
All right, that's fine.
On the reason why you should have a pool, it's not just because you want to be able to meet additional job requirements. It's because you want to be able to have a pool from which to replace staff who leave, resign, or are indisposed, right? So if you have cleaners and they don't show up, or they just resign abruptly, are you going to start advertising to look for cleaners? Or do you have people you've already pre-interviewed and are on standby that you can call and say, we have a vacancy now, are you still interested? That's the point of having a pool of people ready to jump into resumption with a very short notice, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
That's
Tom,
fine.
your name is proper now, so let's hear from you, your takeaway.
Okay, thanks very much for the guidance. The other day I learned that facility management is mainly about customer satisfaction. That I should be able to satisfy my customers, making use of available resources such as people, the assets, skills, and of course, technology.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Vianna, please.
Good evening, all. Okay. Yes, a lot that I could relate with, and some of the ones that struck me, like we said, there is no emergency in FM, and it keeps resounding in my ears, and I think I like that, because what it means is that if you do proper planning, nothing takes you by surprise.
Mm-hmm.
And so you are not reactive, you are proactive in your delivery, in your operations, you are proactive. Then also the area of the use of technology, I think is one area where I see a lot of potentials, like in my organization, we have a robust, in my view, is underutilized. One of the projects I just completed was to automate the FM request process, so that it is easy to report, to track the activities and all that. So there's so much we could do with technology.
Super. Thank you so much.
So much we could do with technology. So thank you.
Emmanuel, you've spoken, right? Emmanuel Iguaba. No? All right, go ahead. Go ahead, Emmanuel.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Great. So what I got from the last class was basically the manpower planning, that's from operation execution strategy. That really got to me, because I've been in situations where you wanted to do a job and or the contractor you had in mind was indisposed, like you said, and you needed to hustle to get a new one. So I think that stuck to me, because it's good to have them available, various types, and different contractors, so that whenever you need to do a job, you can actually get to it. So I think one of the things that stuck to me from the last class was the manpower planning.
Very good.
Yeah, so that's it.
Fantastic. I think we heard from Francis already, right? Or haven't we?
No, sir.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Okay, good afternoon, sir. This is Francis again, the novice guy with street wisdom. So, facility management, like you said in the class, the first class, is for people, process, and space and technology. So, I think what struck me is you must first of all know your facility. If you are given a facility job, that is, know all the facilities under your scope of work, identify them, label them if you have to. If there are no process in place before, you must put them in place. If there are no records of things done in the past, you must get all those things to play. Then the one that is most important to me is the one that you said, the customer expectation. That you must not create a negative perspective about yourself. Like you want to give a quote to your clients and you must know everything about that project or the design of that project from A to Z, so that you don't go back for variation upon variation. In that case, they see us as, we facility managers, as thieves that is trying to extort from the company. So that I think all facility managers should bear in mind. If you want to prove integrity, you must always go. It's better to overshoot. Well, when I say overshoot, we are not trying to say we should be thieves. But if you have to spend 50,000 and you're not sure because of contingencies, you can add 55. You can say 60, because you won't have to go back to them and say we need 10,000 naira. That's what I got from it.
And if you spend less than the 50, you return it back.
You return, because you have to always do reconciliation with the clients or customers. Yes.
Very good. Thank you. Toby Loba, please go ahead. Take the mic.
Yes.
Go ahead, please.
Hello? Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. What I learned from the last class was my key performance indicators. One of the strategies for operational excellence in facility management. I have to keep tabs of my KPI and my CSI from time to time. And then finally, I have to do daily routine inspection of my facility. Routine inspection, all the blind spots. Those are my two takeaways. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Semutakbe, are you ready to speak now? Before all the points finish, I'm just saying you should speak before the points finish.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon. The last class, I didn't finish it because my phone went off. What I had was add web services.
Add services and sub-services.
Sub-services, yeah. Just delete what I mean. I'm sorry, sir. Before my phone went off.
Okay. Okay, so anybody that has any challenge with the audio can type. I'm sure we'll be able to use the typing feature as well. Can we hear from Okpara? I thought Okpara's hand was up. Kingsley, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
What I learned from the last class is that as facility managers, we should have in mind that we are here because of the people. If the people are not there, our services are not needed. So as facility managers, we should try as much as possible to ensure that wherever we find ourselves, we should try to ensure that we try to put in the right process.
Yeah.
Even though the system being operated by that structure is something that we feel that as facility managers, we should ensure that when we get to a system, we look at how we can make things right. We should review continuously how to ensure that we are compliant. We should review the standard continuously in compliance with the standard practice. wherever we find ourselves. I think that is just
that's good.
All right.
That's good. Thank you. Madam Chinyere, you want to speak? Go ahead, please.
Yeah, good afternoon. Good evening, Mr.
Good
Paul.
evening.
Good evening, class. Well, for me, I learned a lot because this is my first time in this particular class, as you know. But what caught my fancy or caught my attention was one of those operations execution strategy, and which has to do with the guide on service disruption and notification. You know, when you started explaining them, each of those bullet points, something just hit me. I said, oh, but this is something like what we used to get from this our Ikeja Electric. You know, I live in an estate where we have this power arrangement with them. So each time we have lights constantly, most times. So each light, each time they want to do this, they send us notifications. I've never really bothered to look at it. I see it even as a burden. These people, they've come again. But however, when you explained and I went through it after the class, I just realized that actually these people are really doing the right thing, because I went back to my, I think one of them is in one of our subgroups in the estate. So I went back to all those notifications that they used to send to us, all the content, everything about it is inside this particular slide. And I was like, I felt so sorry for, looking down on them, but actually they were doing the right thing, politely, actually really telling us what is going to happen and how long it's going to be, and they keep to it. Once they say it's 2 hours, it's 2 hours, the light comes back.
Fantastic.
It's really gave me opportunity or something to say, these people are actually doing what they're supposed to do, and they're doing it right.
Yes.
But we just look down on them because of the past experiences we've had with them and all that. So I'm glad I saw this particular, I was taught this yesterday, and it has made me appreciate them more, that they're actually doing the right thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, that was great. Anthony. Anthony, you can speak now, you have the floor. I thought we have, Emmanuel, did you raise your hand again? You've spoken before.
Yes, I have a question, so that's why I raised my hand.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so my question has to do with one of the points you spoke about, facility operation execution strategy.
Yep.
You talked about maintaining good documentation and record keeping. So I wanted to know, what would you say are the basic records or documentation that a facility officer should maintain in his facility? I know I've read about, from the lecture, I've read about them, asset records and repair record. So what other records would you recommend or would you say are needed in a facility or as a facility manager?
Okay.
Yeah.
There are records that describe and explain what type of assets you have. So beyond your asset register, which is like a summary of all of those records, things that you extract information to your asset register from, for example, as built drawings, right? Warranty documentations, licenses and permits. There are certain things that we call them reference documents, right? Operating manuals for assets, equipment, and the rest. We call them reference documents. There are so many. I just gave you an example of about 4 or 5 now, right? Now, then there are now transaction documents, things like your work orders. Somebody requested, you went to fix it, you use materials and blah, blah, blah. The inventory, install, what's left, what was used, where was it used, who's keeping record, who is approving work orders, who's approving payments, how much was paid, and so on and so forth. You get? So you have all of these documentations of references and of transactions, right? And then there are certain documentations that are more like reports. So I can say, when you've done transactions, you create reports out of them, isn't it? So everything from weekly reports, daily highlights, weekly highlights, monthly reports, annual reports, things like your incidents reports, root cause analysis, learning from incidents, lessons learned from projects. Those ones are all different reports, right? So basically, you can see different categories of documentation that if somebody were to come to your facility and you were not there, for example, you became suddenly indisposed, God forbid COVID-19, and you had to be away for a whole month, right? Will there be questions that must be answered by you for things to run smoothly? If there will still be questions that will be answered by you for things to run smoothly, your documentation is not right. Are we together? All right, so let's hear from Moses. Moses, you haven't said, giving us your takeaway.
All right, good afternoon to everyone.
Moses, the second device needs to go off. Otherwise, the echo will be very high. You have 2 devices in the room.
All right, thank you very much. I want to appreciate the meeting and good afternoon to everyone. What really touched me and got my attention from the last class was the crucial nature of keeping records and knowing the facility by the facility manager. I understood that it was imperative for the facility manager to understand the facilities well enough to be able to have his asset register and the history of services that has happened on the particular project or on the particular facility, to familiarize yourself with the scope of the contract, to familiarize yourself with the budgets, because from my practice, there are certain instances where customers can even walk up to you and ask for a service that was not captured in the budget, in their contract, and they expect you to respond and then to meet their need. So you have to be able to explain to them in a polite way that it wasn't captured and this is what you are in the particular facility to fulfill. And then other things like having job conclusion reports or job conclusion cards, putting all those things, your generator, your design logs, putting all those things in place to ensure that your facility is run maximally, optimally. They are one of the things that I took out from the last class. Thank you.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you so much. Mayowa, let's hear from you.
Good evening, class.
Good evening.
Good evening to everybody. I really learned a lot the last class. You spoke about the facility manager. Like you said, we are like an oil in an engine. So our function is just to like make everything work smoothly by applying the place, process, and also bringing them technology, as in bringing them together to get efficient results. And also, we talked about knowing our customers. So, like we getting to know our customers, the way they want to be communicated to, and also the way we can communicate efficiently with them. And also, we also talk about being proactive. That is being ready before issues come to place, problems come to place. And also, we talked about documentation. That is, we're keeping records of our past experiences to function better in the future. A lot of things we talked about. So those are the major things I picked last week, sir.
Thank you. That was fantastic. Just a quick one, Francis. It looks like you're backing the light. So because you're backing the light, it's almost as if your face is dark like a silhouette and the light is beaming from your back.
Okay.
I had to do some adjustment in my room.
Sorry, I don't have light, so
Yeah, so face that window. If you can face that window, you'll be better.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. Thank you. So let's hear from Awe Taufik. Fantastic.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yeah, from the last class, I learned a lot, but the most thing I learned is how to maintain effective communication with the customers, how to communicate with them, even the good times and the bad times. Even when you communicate good with them at a good time, when you have issues with them, they will know you are not somebody that does that is only doing the bad ones. So by the time you communicate with them, you tell them when you tell them in time the issue will be fixed and some other things like that. And to buttress one point you just said about the record keeping in the facility, one thing is expenses. At least when you have a record of good expenses, then that will prepare you for the year budget. In the coming year budget, you won't be there won't be need to run eta scatter looking for cost, or just go through your records, the things you do in each month, which is your routine stuff, and how you go about it. And that would be easier for you than just going running eta scatter to get the cost. So those are the things that I can relate to for now. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. We'll hear from Gift now. Gift to Kabwe. Is Gift there? All right, Victor, take the mic.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
As an FM or a facility manager, you should be able to plan ahead and put plan in place. You should be proactive, especially that word, proactive. You should always plan for emergency, risk management. You should document all procedures, training, staffing, and so on. So that was my takeaway.
All right, thank you very much. Who hasn't spoken now? I think we have covered. Okay, Jubril. Jubril, please go ahead. After Jubril, we're going to have IMEC. And Anthony, that will be the last three. Jubril, go ahead, please.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Jubril Mwili is my name. From the first class, what really struck me really important was the HSC of the content of chemicals in your building. You should clearly know all chemicals that are in the that you use to clean, so that you know if any of the occupants or the users of your premises react, you can give them adequate information, and the regular health, the regular meetings, and what you need to know about health and safety when you're an FM officer. Then the other one is about your routine inspection, walk around, what they call it, management by walking around. What you need to do, where your staffs work, you look at everything and note it down. And it's best to do that every day, so that you're on top of your facility and you know what is going on and how the position is. And at the same time, use the opportunity to know your stakeholders, both your internal stakeholders, and at the same time, you know what your external stakeholders are doing for you within. I was able to take that. It caught me in the first class. Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot. Thank you, IMEC.
I'm just coming in. I have a network problem, so I didn't know the question. Good evening.
We're just asking you to take away from the last class. One highlight from the last class from you.
For now, I'm just setting down.
Okay, no wahala. Chaos. Chaos, please take the mic. Are you there? Gift?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, my name is Gift. I wasn't in for the last class because of network issue.
Okay.
So, okay, this is
All
a
right,
new.
sorry about that. All right, but you got the materials, right?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so
did they-
Barakat. Barakat, are you there?
Yes, I'm listening.
Barakat, you've noted her issue, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anthony, please go ahead. Anthony. Okay, so for people who come to class and don't put on their videos and come into class formally, you're breaking the rules of the class. I need to make that known, right? I need to be sure that you didn't sign and give the phone to someone who's not a member of the class to be in the class, which would be breaking our confidentiality and non-disclosure agreements. Beyond that, we will not be sure that you are not just marking presence and you're not actually here, because that again will be a corrupt way of earning the 10% that goes for attendance. I remember those days when HR would tell us that we need to do 10,000 steps every day. Because nobody wanted to do the 10,000 steps, they went to give us watch counters, put it on your leg or your hands, and then there's a feed. HR will sit in the dashboard to see those who have been active. If you've not been active enough by 2 o'clock, they will send you a message. Your counter is so low, you have to get up and walk so that the thing can increase. Guess what our brothers did? They got borrowed legs, including dogs, to help them to do the work by tying it. The counting was increasing very fast while the person was sitting in his chair. So when you come to class, please obey the class rules. Come on, and coming on actually helps for the discussions. While I'm doing my presentation, if you want to save your data by going off video, it's fine. But whenever we come back to class to talk and interact, it's important that we all come on, because we're supposed to be in this class as if we're all in the same room, no difference, okay? So if I see you on the street, I will know, yes, that's you. For the last class, there were only 2 surprises I had when I finally met everybody in our field trips and in the social events we organized. The 2 surprises was that one person that was looking so tall in Zoom was really very short. Another person that was looking very short in Zoom was taller than me by far. So that was the only surprise I got. Everyone else I could identify straight because of our interaction on the Zoom platform, which is very effective. It looks like it's the first time I'm noticing your face in this class. Have you introduced yourself before? No, okay. So let's meet Tell us your name, where you work, what you do, and how many years of experience you've had in the workplace so far, plus what discipline your background was in. Yep.
Okay. Hi, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Okay. My name is MM.
I'm the facility manager of an estate. So what else do? I do real estate as well. So this is my first time joining. I think this is the second class. Yes.
Yes.
So I think workplace experience, I would say full-time 2 years.
Okay,
So,
super. Welcome.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. So this is your first class, so we'll be asking you your takeaway from the last class. Okay.
Yes.
All right, fantastic. Okay, so I have shared my screen before, so I'm just going to move straight. Gift, you have a question? I see your hand is up, Gift. Okay.
Hello, it's not really a question. It's about your video, your face showing. I actually might not be able to. Maybe I'll be the disobedient child anyways, because I work at the site, so I kind of move around. So because of that, I won't want kind of a distraction. So my face might not be showing all the time.
Yes, but the concern I have with that Gift is that this program is a formal program, which means you need to actually dedicate 3 hours 3 times a week to it. If you can actually work proactively, you can schedule to be seated in class. It's a requirement, so you may need to look at your schedules and activities and see how you can adjust. Okay, just think about it and work towards it.
All right, thank you.
All right, you're welcome. I really don't like to label everybody. Even if you want to label yourself as the disobedient one or the rebellious one, I won't accept it. That's what I just did with Gift. We can all become, what we agreed to be. All right, thanks a lot for that. Emmanuel Taiwo, you have a question? Whose hand is up?
Yes, sir. We have a new person in class.
Oh, yes. You have somebody in the center. Go ahead, give us your name, where you work, what you do, and how many years experience and background you have.
Okay, my name is Tosin Adedoyin. I work in DCC Estate and I've about 5 years doing facility management. What other questions, sir? Sorry.
Your background.
Okay, my background is electrical engineering. Yes.
Okay, super. Welcome. I think we have done introductions for everybody, and we have done our takeaways for the last class. I'm going to go straight into this lesson. Next class, maybe on Saturday, I will devote some time to solution sections. So if you have a work problem, a business problem, professional issue, just note it, write it in your notes, okay? And then bring it to class. Once we've done the takeaways, we solve problems, practical problems here, okay? Is my screen still showing?
Yes.
I wonder.
Yes, it's showing.
And it's showing the slides, right?
It's just showing the page one, the cover page.
Okay,
right now.
Good.
Yes. We can see the slide.
I thought it was showing my email. Okay, so in today's class, we're going to be looking at facility management career. We like starting this program with the end view from the beginning. There are basically 2 reasons why you want to learn a skill, join a profession, advance in a profession. It's either you want to get a job, get career enhancement while on the job, get promoted and progress in that career, or you want to at some point start a business and run a business within that profession. So we have 2 different classes for each of these. today we'll be focusing on careers in FM, professional growth and progress. Next class will be focusing on the business of facility management. And the good thing about these two classes that we run as part of the FM Mastercraft Diploma is that many of us want to work first, gain some practical experience, learn from some masters in the industry, and at some point in our careers, move on to start a business of our own, to become independent and run an operation of our own in the industry. And that's why we take this to. So today is mainly going to be about individual goals, exploration of career options, analysis of the job market, management of career pathways, and assessing talents in the FM industry. And then we want to learn, help us learn the value of FM as a career. And so we're going to be looking at a lot of those skills and competencies you need to excel in the FM industry if you're taking this job. So education, qualification, professional certification, job opportunities, career progression, various services that we perform in our jobs. The difference between working on either side of the coin, there are two coins in the FM, there are two sides of the coin in the FM, the service provider and the service receiver, right? So the service receiver, we call the demand organization. The service provider is the service provider. You could be in the demand organization, you could be in the service provider. There are two different sides of a coin, but you must understand the advantage and disadvantage of each side. And then we're going to look at a little bit into the forms of FM department, on how FM departments are structured. So we introduced that just briefly here. Okay, so the facility manager's job is the job of one who understands how to manage people, who understands what people are trying to achieve, and can provide the spaces and services to enable them achieve those goals. So in essence, there are really no, what I would call a high bar set for educational qualification in FM. First is multidisciplinary, which means engineers cannot lay claim to it and say it's our profession. We are the engineers, we do maintenance. No, maintenance is just one small part. Accountant can say, oh, FM spend most of our money in the company, therefore it's an accounting profession. It's not. Business administration, sociology, social work, industrial engineering, name it, sciences and the rest, can't lay claim to it. So what we basically say is, and because we don't have a single first degree or an ordinary diploma in a national, federal or state university in Nigeria, everybody will come from one form of education or the other into FM. Many of you found yourself in FM, not deliberately. You were given some tasks and then you were transferred and then your role was expanded and then so on and so forth. You found yourself doing more and more facility management to the point where, luckily for you, you recognize that I am a facility manager. I should go and get a training and become a professional. There are at least 10,000 people in Nigeria today who have followed that same path, still don't recognize themselves as facility managers. They are admin officers and heads of admin. They are receptionists and corporate service officers and assistants. There are logistics officers and managers, inventories and stores. There are booking managers and officers. All kinds of things. There are scheduling managers and officers. There are, procurement officers and managers. So many people are actually in facility management. They are not as lucky as you who recognize the fact that you are in facility management, hence you have come for training. They wander through their jobs from day to day, using the best they can muster in terms of knowledge and experience, which we call native intelligence, to get through, but they did not get the fact that there's a body of knowledge for FM. Okay, so if you're already here, it's because you have I call it a minimum requirement of any degree of tertiary education, a diploma, an NCE, a BSc, an engineering degree, any kind of degree. The reason is you earn any level of tertiary education so that you can get some level of literacy that we can say brings you to the level of maturity. Otherwise, it's not even compulsory. But you must have a training in FM. Even if you've been there for 10 years and you have created a lot from your individual learning and practice and research, you still need a study and training in the body of knowledge. For those young people who are coming out of universities and diplomas and they are trying to get into the job market, entry-level positions are positions that do not require you to have experience. Okay, and if you are going for an entry-level position, know why you are going for it. I've seen many young people out of school, still not experienced in being jobless, making a lot of shakara about the available entry-level positions. In fact, if you school in the UK, for example, you will be happy to offer your service for free so that you can do some things that you can count as experience before you start earning your first paychecks. So you actually write to organizations, look, give me a chance to work for you for 6 months, for 1 year as an intern. I want to do so much. I want to learn as quickly as possible. It's not so much about the money right now. So entry level is entry level. It may not pay you your dream wages. But when you get into your entry level positions, gain experience. Many people miss the point. They think that when you stay on the job for a long time, you are gaining experience. That is fallacy. It is the accomplishments, the task that you deliver on that job that is your experience. You could be 15 years in a role and you've only gained 1 year of experience. There's a clear difference between how long you've been on the job and your experience in that job. Tie your experience to your achievements. Whereas your duration on the job, years on the job, is tied to your job descriptions and your role description. If you have 10 line items in your role description, all the years you spend in that job can be linked to executing those specific tasks. But that is not experience. Experience is what you actually achieved, the value you added when you were there. Once you gain experience for a while, and many people do this a lot. So people go from first degree to second degree to third degree in the universities before they come out into the job markets. If you can do all of that before you are 25 or 30, then you can still go and start with an entry-level job. Because most employers don't recognize a pile up of degrees as anything of value because they prefer more of experience than academic qualifications, especially in our industry. If you are here already and you have worked for some time, don't rush back to add degrees to degrees. Get certifications like what you are doing, and then I'll introduce you to other certifications, designations, credentials that you can begin to take out one after the other. The reason certifications are very powerful is that degrees and diplomas in universities are relative upon the perception of those institutions. A master's degree from a university in the US versus a master's degree from a university in Nigeria may not be perceived to be the same. But a certification or a credential in facility management is the same that you approach in Nigeria, the man in Japan, the guy in Canada, the guy in the US, they all do the same thing. So if you have a designation that you acquired because of professional certification, it gives you an edge over degrees. Even within the US there, degrees have levels. If you measure your degree and the grade of your degree, you also have to mention the university or school you got it from before somebody will say, okay, this is where that degree is from and this is the value. So certifications. Another thing about certifications is that it gives you not just a standard of measure comparison across the world, it also takes you straight into practical learning and skills related to the job that you are doing. Okay, it's always focused. If you are here in the FM Mastercraft Diploma, all we'll talk throughout these 3 months and into your project is all FM. But if you went to take a master's degree in the University of Lagos, for example, I teach on that program, you will have FM in about 4 or 5 of the courses, and about 6 of those courses will be older academic courses, not directly FM related, because certain units and certain requirements of faculty, of senates and so on must be met. You have to learn a lot more. Of course, it has to build maturity like the school system and leadership and all that, but this is practical. So that's the advantage. Go for, and then, you know, I like the fact that many of us are so ambitious. We earn our salaries within the first 2 years. We make a lot of money. We save, we buy land and buy a car. I'm not discouraging you from doing that, but if you can invest in your professional growth as quickly as possible, the rate at which you can earn in the future is geometric. It just goes out. There are some people that started earning probably 150,000, and they've been promoted from year to year. Maybe after 10 years, they're on 350 and they're happy. Whereas there are some that probably started that job of 150 with you, but because they have gone to do one credential and one certification and have, you know, beefed themselves up, are now earning 600, 1 million per month over the same 6 to 10 years time span. What you spent your savings acquiring in terms of physical assets cannot compare to what you can make with this, you know, huge growth you could have, you could become. So make a note of it, have questions, ask when we get to the question and answer. It's very important. And therefore the certifications, you maintain the certifications. Now, in this list, it's not kind of exhaustive. It doesn't say, okay, don't go for your master's and your PhD and things. No, it doesn't say that. I'm trying to guide you through basic steps to get yourself up and running in a profession, especially a service profession like facility management that we are all in right now. Okay. All right, so I told you I'm going to talk about some trainings and opportunities. The International Facility Management Association has several levels of certificates, credentials, and certification. I think IFMA is one of the most robust in terms of training content, being one of the first organizations to start professionalizing facility management. So we have the essentials of facility management program. It's a 4-day program that helps you learn some practical skills like how to set up work orders, how to manage your software, how to do space planning and so on and so forth. It's 4 days program. It's about 400,000. It comes with 10 little workshop certificates and a cover essential certificate. These are certificate programs. And then we have the facility management professional. This is the first level of credentials or designations. With the essentials of facility management, you cannot put your name and EOFM beside. No, that's just a certificate. That's just it, nothing more. But the FMP is a credential that comes with a designation. So if you take the FMP and you pass all 4 courses in it, you have a designation that is for life. So if somebody has the FMP in Trinidad and Tobago or US or in Nigeria, it is the same thing. It covers 4 of the 11 core competencies: operations and maintenance, project management, finance and business, leadership and strategy. Those are the 4 courses that are inside the facility management professional. Right now, this course is about 1,070,000 to cover the 4 of them and take the exam online at your pace. Gives you 2 years access to the learning management system. And it's something that's at the next level, you may want to aspire to acquire this FMP. And then you have the Sustainable Facility Management Professional, SFP. It's also a credential that comes with a designation. So if I write my name and I have FMP, I have SFP, I have CFM, I have CIWFM, I have MRICS, these are all designations that come with qualifying to those credentials or certifications. The Sustainability Facility Professional is a credential, all right? And it's all about sustainability. Sustainability is one out of the 11 competency areas identified for facility management. And it is a specialized area. So all of these high-tech new buildings that are coming up, all of the energy efficiency studies you need to do, all of the technology that needs to be adopted in managing facilities, they are really stretched. And the concern for the environment and environmental issues are stretched further in the SFP credential and designation. The certified facility manager sets the industry standards for ensuring the knowledge and competence of practicing facility managers. It is, in fact, the only globally recognized certification in facility management. So beyond being a credential like the FMP and the SFP, a designation like the FMP and the SFP, it is now a certification. The difference is that while you don't maintain credits or use continuing education points to maintain FMP and SFP, the credentials, you will need those for the CFM, the certification. Every 3 years, you must show that you are practicing at the highest level for you to have a recertification of your CFM certificates. It's certification. You have to recertify every 3 years. When you get to retirement age, instead of recertifying every 3 years, you get a new certification called the Retired CFM, which is ROCFM. That becomes the final one that you hold on for life. While you're doing consultancy and doing all of those book writing and teaching that you're doing, you can do that with the ROCFM, but as practicing FM, you must have the CFM as the highest to look up to. BIFM is now called the IWFM. I think I need to, they changed their names. They changed their name last year. It used to be called the British Institute of Facility Management. It's now called the Institute of Workplace and Facility Management. And main reason they went about going that route is facility management as a profession was not being elevated as fast as one would expect. More and more people still kept seeing facility management as a maintenance and cleaning and shop floor profession. Whereas other workplace professions like HRO, IT, procurement, and the rest, they tend to be getting more and more prominence. Their value proposition was made clear by them, and management bought into it. FMC has a challenge of, defending a value proposition that we show management that we are strategic enablers of the organization's success. Okay, that's just my reasoning around the change of name to Institute of Workplace and Facility Management, because what that simply means now is that other workplace professionals will now be, seen as part of the profession and not spelled out or separated. There are training they have with skill sets organization in the UK. They provide modules for different levels of training, and so they align their own training with the British National Vocational Qualification System, where you have NVQ 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on and so forth. So basically, that's how they work. So if you are taking a British FM qualification, it is going to align with that those levels in the UK. The RICS, the Royal Institution of Chartered Surveyors, is in fact the oldest professional body in the built environment, encompassing every professional from land survey to building survey, to quality surveyors, to engineers, project managers, construction professionals, all the way to facility management. So as an FM, you could actually become qualified with a charter under RICS. And to become an RICS member or charter, this is MRICS, you need to have trained as an FM, practiced as an FM, and then pass some reviews and interviews and panels to get that designation or a certification that shows that you're not chartered with RICS. A few years ago, RICS and IFMA came together to kind of standardize the levels of their various qualifications. And the CFM was equated to ASOC RICS, which was not a charter status with RICS. So those of us who had the CFM needed to automatically just present our CFM to RICS and become ASOC RICS. But I didn't want that, for example. I decided to go through the process to become MRICS, because for me, that is the ultimate. Just becoming chartered as a chartered facility management surveyor was more important than being an associate in a body that I'm just entering. Of course, RICS being a larger body is something that brings some advantage in terms of recognition in the industry as well. When you start out in your FM careers, many of us probably started out as an FM. I, for one, I finished university, first degree architecture. I was supposed to go to the master's degree with my classmates, but I opted out to go and get a job as an FM. And that was because I had already started doing some business in the FM space. I built drawings, I started doing some maintenance scoping, some material schedule for maintenance and bill of quantities for maintenance work and so on and so forth. So going into FM was something I really wanted to do. But many still stay within the FM space, within their organization, and don't realize that there is a broader network of facility managers across the country. Many years ago, some 10, 15, okay, let's say 10, 20 years ago, the numbers were very few. If you call people out to say, we've talked to every Nigerian, let's put together those who recognize themselves as facility managers, you'll probably be looking at less than 50 people who will say, okay, yes, I think I am. I feel that role, right? But today, we have at least 5,000 people that recognize themselves as facility managers, even though we have not been able to mobilize all of them into the national associations. But we have made progress. We have close to 1,000 recognizing themselves as members affiliated to, associated to the national body of FM in Nigeria, which is the Association of Facility Management Professionals, Nigeria, AFMPM, which got licensed or registered by CAC in 2017. Now, before the national body was created, we had franchises or branches of international organizations I mentioned before, the BIFM and the IFMA. They had branches in Nigeria where we could all come together and network and learn and subscribe to something about developing our industry. So for some of us who have been in IFMA and BIFM, we also came to create the national body because there's a difference. All right, so if you are thinking of how to expand your reach, get to know more people, participate in platform discussions, get to see what others are doing in their various organizations, then I would say in fact, join the Association of Facility Management Practitioners Nigeria, and then also any of the other international associations, because there are benefits of knowledge through training, knowledge sharing sessions through seminars and webinars and conferences, and also networking with peers. So it's very important that you don't bury your head in your own container in your organization and say, I'm an FM. I've seen situations where HRO teams are looking for where to send the FM to for training. The FM does not know that there's a national body, there are associations that provide training, there are companies that provide training. So while they are training everyone else in the company, the FM does not have anything to train on because it doesn't even know that he's in the FM profession, doesn't even know that he has professional colleagues can mingle with, participate in industry events and so on and so forth. It will elevate you and your career as quickly as you cannot even imagine. If you start participating, start becoming noticed in professional bodies. Before we created the FM Mastercraft Diploma and all the other short courses that Max-Migold developed, I worked with Alphamid and we had short courses that we were handling there, 2 days, 3 days, 1 day training. At IFMA Nigeria, for example, we also have short courses, 2 days, 3 days, which is actually Max-Migold content that we come to deliver. The difference between short courses and a comprehensive program is you will need to take for example, you take the operations training, the maintenance training, strategy training, take a master class, take the essentials class, and so on and so forth, to get the kind of breadth and depth that you will need to say, I have covered the body of knowledge. But if you add up all of those short courses one by one, it's about 4 times or 3 times the cost of the FM Mastercraft Diploma. So we have our footprint in virtually all the local training that's going on right now as myself and as Max-Migold, because we've really invested effort, resources, time, research into ensuring that we build capacity for the FM industry in Nigeria. And you can see that as you go on in this program to see what has gone into what we are doing here. I talked about competencies that I'm going to look at again, but let me talk about the skills. The skills that you need to be successful as an FM. There's a difference between skills and competencies. Competencies talks to what you should do or be able to do. Skills are mostly things you learn, that you practice, that are inherent or innate in you. So when we talk about skills, it's the way you do things. Some skills are hard, some are soft. Though you have hard FM and soft FM. Hard skills are mostly technical skills. The skills about knowing what a red cable and a black cable means, for example, is a hard skill. All right? The soft skills are not technical. It's not about valves and cables and stuff. The soft skills are about character, they are traits. And so what we're going to be looking at as critical FM skills today contains a mix of hard and soft skills. The first line item there is actually a soft skill. FM is not a job that one man can do. You can impact the life of one person, you can impact the life of many people, but you can't do it alone. So your ability to manage relationships and coordinate interpersonally in your interactions with all stakeholders is key to success in FM. If anybody does not like you, or you don't like somebody that you have to deal with, that is a red flag. You cannot be in this profession and be espousing such ideas like somebody doesn't like me or I don't like the person. If you take away the word like, you must show that you understand everybody around you, and you must make everybody to make every effort to make everybody around you understand you. I hope I've been able to explain this. But the bottom line is, be a people person. You cannot do facility management work in isolation. You can't say, I like minding my business, because your business is ensuring that the business of others sails smoothly. The FM must be able to manage procurement and negotiation. You see, for most other professions in your organization, they probably have one or two areas where they spend money. But with the FM, where we spend money is myriad, many, legion. We are buying all the line items of things we will have contracts in place for, we'll have suppliers for, we have vendors for, we have shops we visit to buy from, will be a huge number, a large variety. The FM is also in charge of the second highest spending on overhead for the organization after HR. HR is basically salaries, benefits like medical and so on and so forth. But the FM is into virtually everything. We're painting the house, we're buying tissues, we're buying diesel, we're running maintenance of this, we're doing that, all kinds of things. So if you cannot specify what you want clearly, objectively, so that if there's a procurement department that is going to be your errand boys or girls to go and help you get them, you've made yourself clear enough that they will get you exactly what you require. You have done the procurement. So the FM that says, I want 2 horsepower ACs for the conference room, and that's what you put in the memo to the procurement department, you have handed over procurement to procurement, and they will buy you the most convenient, the cheapest 2 horsepower AC. Don't complain, because you have abdicated your procurement responsibility. But if you wrote down a whole page, 18 to 20 line items of description of the AC you want, it is 2 horsepower. That's the rating. That's fine. The size of the outdoor and the indoor, the color of the casing, whether it has remote or not, starting current, fluctuation level that you can take, inverter or not inverter, noise level. There's so many parameters that you can define. And the clue I normally give FMs, go and look for the product you want. Take their own descriptions and put it inside your own specification request to the HR. To the procurement guys. Same thing when you're procuring labor and staff. And we want 2 cleaners, and we want 1 technician for AC. That's all you said, though. You want 1 technician for AC. No, that's what you will get. And you now say, oh, HRO, they like employing people that don't know what they are doing for us. What did you tell them you want? AC technician, no wahala. If you cannot spend your time, specifying clearly, starting from what you want to achieve with that role or that asset that you're trying to acquire, you have failed or abdicated your procurement responsibility. The FM needs to be a good time manager. No matter how organized you think you are, things will go wrong. And when things go wrong, the things you've organized carefully, you'll be distracted from them. You must know how to prioritize the use of your time. The FM must be a good project manager. Using project management tools and techniques is key to all your non-routine activities that you need to perform. I've heard some people come, oh, well, me, I'm not an FM, I'm a project manager. Whenever I have project, see, if you say you're a project manager and you're in this industry, you'll be redundant most of the time because projects are start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. Projects are not routine, they're not things you do on an ongoing basis. As a facility manager, you will get projects every now and then. Oh, relocate this office from this floor to that floor. Oh, set up that event center for so and so activity. Oh, do your asset register and collection assessment. Oh, let's come and plan Christmas party. Each of these are projects. As an FM, you must have project management skills. So when you study project management, it is because you want to be able to handle some projects as they come your way. And you cannot run away from projects in FM. Major procurements and major installations are projects. You deal with them that way. But the routine things are not. Diesel supply will not be, but generator installation will be. The FM must be able to research every problem you will encounter that you have encountered has been encountered by someone else before. Some solution exists somewhere. You just only know how to be a good researcher for solutions. Your organizations will most likely depend on you as the most versatile or knowledgeable person around. It's not easy. An accountant cannot have the variety of skills you will have as an FM. Even if you were an accountant by background, within 1 year, you're talking voltage. Before they even feel surprised about voltage, you are talking about flow rate for water. You are talking about footfall, how many people are in the building. You are talking about health and safety. You are talking about ambient temperature and lighting. Oh my goodness, where did you learn all this from? It's FM, it's very versatile. So you cannot say, I already know one thing, and that is enough. The FM is always learning, always learning. So whenever I hear somebody say, oh, well, this part of the FM is not the area I'm interested in, that's for the engineers. No problem. Somebody will scope maintenance repair for your split unit AC and put carburetor there, 25,000. Buy carburetor. Since you say you don't want to learn any of these areas, you're not researching, they'll give you the manual for it. You didn't go through and say, what are the maintenance procedures in the manual for this AC? And where are the main spare parts? What are the main components of this AC that I bought? You carry the manual, you throw it under the cupboard. It's after they have cheated you very well. When management is not even looking through your books, you now look like a criminal, whereas it's ignorance. Things you should have read, you did not read. Things you should have picked up, you did not pick up. Questions you should have asked at the time the people at the shop floor are acting on your behalf, you did not ask. They exploited you, you start complaining. Because if people smell ignorance in you, they will dig in there. And you can't say, oh, well, that's not my field. That's not my background. No, nobody cares. Once you have been given a portfolio to manage, you should understand that portfolio. So you take a lot of time to learn and learn. And why I love this profession so well is that it is not narrow. It is very broad. It is so broad that the day you move from managing a mall to managing a hospital, your life turns around 180 degrees. Because immediately you finish, the day you land in that hospital, you start learning about infectious diseases. All of a sudden, you are almost like a community health worker, nurse, and doctor, all put together. Because if you don't become that specialist in infectious diseases and how to sanitize and how to prevent spread of disease, this were not your focus when you were in the mall or in the airport. Are you going to say, oh, well, I'm only going to be able to manage airports if there's no other airport to manage? Sure, you will stop the job and find something else to do. So the FM is a researcher. There's no time to waste. You learn every minute, every hour, every day. The FM must be able to write. You write proposals to win jobs. Everything from your CV to win your job, to your appraisal documentation to get promotions, to proposals to win contracts, to reports that you submit to your bosses. Every time you write, know that someone else is going to read it at some point where you will not be there. Certain judgments will be made about you from your writing. The FM must be able to work in teams and organize teams and create harmony among team members. The FM must be able to lead. Leadership is in two variety. You are leading your subordinates, showing them the vision of where you're going with the service you're delivering, providing them with the resources, inspiring and motivating them to run in that direction. The force to move in that direction comes from within them, but you have put the burning flame in there. That is leadership. Leadership also has a second and even more powerful aspect, which is leading your bosses. Every time you have ego problem, my boss is feeling insecure. My boss is always trying to victimize me. They are always questioning my integrity. There's always this and that. When you have those kind of issues, there's problem. When you cannot know exactly what's going on in the mind of your boss, you have a problem yourself. When your boss takes decisions, does not care to consult you at all at any time, you have a problem. It means you're not leading the boss. It means you are not that useful to the boss. It means you can be discounted. So how do you lead your boss? You show true antecedents that you can be trusted. Integrity and competence. They are the two things I merge together to create trust. Integrity and what? Competence. That's where trust comes from. But you're not trying to line your pockets and that you are going to do things better and better. If you send me an email, I'm your boss, and I'm supposed to review that email and re-edit it before sending it to my own bosses, you are not leading me yet. If you can get to that point where I feel so confident that you have done that job so well that I don't even need to read it before firing it up, then you have started leading, because all the decisions I will have in my head, I will run them through you. We'll talk. In fact, it's your ideas as my subordinates that I'll be working with. I'll be listening to you. There'll be no surprises. Add to that confidence. When people give information to you, can you keep confidence? Are you the one that the information will filter out to the whole organization within 3 days? You can't lead your boss. Your boss will keep his thoughts tightly locked up. You will never be able to influence him or her if you are that type. And then when you bring some nice ideas and your boss buys the idea, do you want to share in the glory? Forget about leading your boss if you want to share in the glory. It's my idea. He has implemented it. He's being praised. And I'm being angry that I'm not being mentioned. You just ruined your career. Even if it's just body language that it came out that you were expecting to have your mention. If you are the force behind your boss's success, you are the hand that propels your bosses, that always make your boss to look good, the rest assured you're going to sit in that position before anybody blinks. Because let's face it, decisions will be taken about us when we are not there. What will the boss say about you filling a higher position? Leading your boss is powerful. Innovative approach. I do it this way. I did it this way last year, last 2 years, last 3 years. I'm still doing the same way now. Think again. Your processes should evolve. The problems you had last year and last 2 years, don't have them again this year. Let them be new problems this year. Different from what you've had because you've solved them. And be able to make decisions. Some wise men said, if you make a bad decision, it is far better than not making a decision and things still go bad. And that's why I try to differentiate the difference between mistakes, which I can call errors of outcome or outputs. You've taken a decision based on a rationale that you have carefully analyzed. If the outcome is wrong, didn't give us the results we want, you should still not be penalized for it because there was a genuine reasoning and analysis that went to that decision. It's different from when you didn't make a decision at all. Even if things turn out right for you, it is still a mistake because you will not learn how to replicate that kind of success. To be a fluke. IT savvy, technology is everything today. So all those paper logbooks and spreadsheets that we moved into, and then softwares, things are getting smarter. We do softwares so that we can automate. Intelligence and AI is coming into FM. Our buildings are becoming intelligent. The FM should be learning new ways of doing things. Not when the software is coming, you are complaining that you cannot learn it because it's going to be too hard. The FM must have numerical know-how, especially financial literacy, time value of money. Go back and look for your 4-figure tables that you used when you were in secondary school. When they say, if we put out 1 million naira now versus putting 100,000 every year for the next 24 years, which one will you choose? I'm sure many people will say, so every year 100,000. So people will say, 1 million now, let's just stop paying for the next 24 years. Until you have done your analysis, you are not numerically, you don't have numerical know-how. All those feelings that you write in memos to management, I feel it's going to be a waste of money to spend money on this and that. I think we should do this. You are talking rubbish. Without numbers, without facts. Management will read those things and say, based on what have you made this conclusion? Especially when that conclusion or that feeling or that thought is contrary to what the supervisor or manager thinks. It's just thrown away. But if you use numbers to do your analysis and you come up with things that you're trying to compare between buying a gas generator or buying a diesel generator, for example, or even subscribing to an IPP versus buying your own generator. Now, they all have financial analysis that you can do that can objectively lead to a result that you can say, based on these numbers, I recommend, not arbitrary recommendations. So look at the core competencies. Communication. I think we should have a break now. And let's have a 5-minute break. 5 minutes should do, okay? Stretch, grab your cuppa, and whatever. Thank you. Okay. Have we taken our 5 minutes already?
Yes.
Thank you. All right. So we'll look at the first skill. A facility manager should have in terms of competencies now. We are looking at the 11 competencies now. Communication. Be able to manage, oversee the development and use of the facility communications plan. What is your facilities communication plan? It is a document that identifies all your stakeholders, your customers, different categories of your customers in their various spaces, your vendors, your workers, your management, if there are board of directors, if there are community people, if there are regulatory people, the lawman, the environmental people. You will make a list of stakeholders that everybody you interact with. You make that list. Then, with that, you come up with what kind of information do these various stakeholders require from me? What kind of communication should I be providing for them? That's the next one. For these ones, I'll give weekly highlights. I will also give them annual reports. I will give annual appraisal. I'm talking about my bosses now. For these other ones, I'll give them a newsletter. I'm talking about my customers. I'll give them certain instructional materials on how to process requests. I'll give them onboarding documentation when they are moving into the estate or the office. Those are my customers. For these ones, I'll prepare my incidents reports in case the environmental people come in. I'll prepare my audits of my HSC for my site and keep a record. I'll make sure that my licenses and permits for so and so licenses are done so that these agencies can be covered. I'm identifying all the various communication that needs to happen between me and my various stakeholders. Then, for each communication line item, I will now decide how I'm going to transmit, how I'm going to engage. Oh, this is going to be a meeting. This one is going to be a letter. This one is going to be a report form. This one is going to be that. That's how I'll plan. I'm going to engage with my stakeholders. That is proactive facility management. When the information that should come from you comes before it is requested, you are proactive, not after it's been asked. When you provide information that is adequate, not more than is necessary for the particular situation, then you are doing your job well. You should be able to make presentations. The competent facility manager is able to prepare and deliver messages that achieve the intended results. If my subordinates, I give them instructions, work processes, and they cannot implement it, I should go and check how I communicate. Am I communicating well? I know facility managers that will say, these people they don't want to do the job. I've been teaching them, I've been with them for 5 years and they can't do the job. I say, come, show me where you train them. Can't you see we always train? When you train people and you don't have record of the training, for example, these are the slides from the training. These are the topics covered. These are the names of those who attended and their signature on the day that training was done. You can't tell me you trained them. Or is it that when you go to the field and you shout and shout, everybody adjusts while you are there? You say, oh yes, I'm making impact and communicating very well. When you are not there and that shouting has stopped, do you think they are still doing what you want them to do? How do you carry hearts and minds to get them to implement what you want them to do? That is communication. Communication does not mean that I have spoken. No. I know people say, yeah, I sent a WhatsApp message. I drop it in the group now. I see all the estate members are in that group. I drop the message there. Somebody now say, I did not inform me that there are going to be water shortage or we're going to put off water. My dear, you can drop that message in that platform. It doesn't mean you have communicated. Until you actually validate or verify that they have received the information and that they will act in a way that you expect them to act, communication has not happened. And well, I made a proposal, I did a budget for it, I presented it to management, and management said, no, not approved, or KIV. Who failed, you or management? Of course, I'm sure you know it's you. Because that bright idea, that innovation you want to bring on, being unable to convince them to buy into it is a failure of communication, as well as leadership. We'll come to that when we get to leadership. Reporting is communication. Being able to manage perceptions and expectations is communication. You know, you can have two faculty managers doing exactly the same thing. No difference. For example, they both take 5 days to replace a burnt bulb in an office. No problem. It's the same thing they are doing. They both, you know, have the same practices, basically. But one can be made to look special by his customers because of the way he communicates with them. Whereas the other one is made to look like a trash, someone who knows nothing of what he's doing. When he posts things like, oh, you don't mind those effects, but they don't know their right from their left. You're being discounted. It's communication, perception. You tell a customer, this thing will get to you by 10 o'clock. You bring it by 11 or 12, and you want to be celebrated. The expectation is that you bring it by 10. If you brought it by 11, you have failed. You've been judged already before you came. It's better to bring it by 9, so they'll be pleasantly impressed. But to manage perception and expectation simply means that if you have targets and deadlines to meet, you communicate if they are going to change. You don't call me after I expected that job to be completed to say, we couldn't get one particular part. Is it now that I already expect the job to have been completed, you are now telling me you didn't get that part? Before the time that you promised to execute the job, at what point did you know that you won't be able to execute the job? The moment you know that you may not be able to execute it at that time, you call, you let me know. That's communication. You're managing my perception mind. Two of us can do the same job. I finish mine in 5 days. You finish yours in 2 weeks. My customers will tell me I am rubbish. I'm doing useless work for doing it in 5 days because they were expecting it to be done in 3 days. Your customers will tell you that you are super. They also expect it to be done in 3 days, but you ended up doing it in 12 days. You know why they will tell you are super? Because for every move, every step, you carry them along. You manage their expectations continuously. You become your allies. If you succeed in communication, you have succeeded in FM. There was one time we had to hire people to work, and there was this lady that had industrial safety OND. My man didn't think she was qualified for the job. Everybody's thinking was that she was not qualified for the job. She should not be brought into the job. After much argument, because I interviewed her and assessed her and think she can do it, I now said, okay, you know what? Let's even give her a title of assistant manager, or there was one, just something that like a trainee, yes, trainee FM. You will still be paid, so take it. So she came on board. Within 6 months, Within 6 months, she started creating new benchmarks for FM success in that team. That team, by the way, was an oil and gas team made up of current registered engineers of 18 years and 15 years and administrators of 10 years experience. Babas and mamas were in that team. The standards she set were mind-blowing. Who would have thought that you could bust the bubble of your technicians and they will still love you? Because we have pool of technicians that work for various FMs. If they don't finish that lady's job, they will not agree to any other FM that they have time. They will tell you their hands are full. So I started investigating. Why is it that the technicians like working with this lady? And let me tell you something she had done. We had a very high rate of use of compressors those days. The slightest error with the AC, in fact, you dare not call the technicians to say there's a fault with your AC. Even if it's just to use remote to adjust your AC, they will report that the compressor needs to be replaced. There was a racketeering going on for compressors because we had them installed. So every little fault is compressor replacement they were doing. This lady started using permanent marker to mark compressor by signing on it before issuing it out. And before she would close the work order, when the AC is now working, she will tell you to open the outdoor unit so she can see her signature on that compressor. My dear, compressor use drop from 3,000 per month to 300 in less than 3 months of that practice. There were so many practices that were shading the system that she blocked one by one. And yet, the technicians still preferred working with her. So I had to look. There was a day I was in a hospital where she's managing. There was a work in progress that was cordoned off with tape. And the matron was using her table and spreading herself to cover it and calling her and saying, your boss is around though. You better, this is your work that you abandoned for almost 2 days now. You're going to get into trouble. I'm not like, this is the same matron that for the slightest mistake you make in that hospital, the kind of stinker she will write to management, they will take you away from that site immediately if they didn't fire you. What was making the matron protect this particular lady? It boiled down to, so I came down to their level and I realized what was going on. She was everybody's person. She would go down to the canteen where they eat. She would eat with them. She would chat with them. She would play with them. If somebody is sick, she would visit them. She had all kinds of interactions. That connection was there. And for the customers, if something was going to go wrong, you'll be the first to know. So you will not be reporting to her that something is gone wrong. No, never with her. You will know that this thing may work, but after a few days, I'm working on it, but please manage it for now. So and so day, I'll come back. When it fails, they don't escalate. They don't escalate. They know she's in charge. Emergency preparedness and business continuity. You should be able to plan, manage, and support the entire organization's emergency preparedness plan. Emergency preparedness is all about risk management, risk planning. Develop a plan that includes a list of everything that can go wrong. It is easy to have a list of everything that can go wrong because you have seen many things go wrong in the past. Write down those things that have gone wrong in the past and ask yourself, what should I have in place so that these things don't happen again? The day power went off and gen did not work, have you investigated what led to that? What's the root cause of that not working? What are the things you can put in place to ensure that every time there's no power, the gen must respond? It takes time, but you must build this into your process. You must brainstorm with your team to come up with these ideas. Because the moment you have put all those things in place, nothing will surprise you again. When people say, oh, switch to plan B, what is plan B? You know what plan B is because you made it. Environmental stewardship and sustainability. Be able to plan and manage and support the entire organization's commitment to protecting the environment. FMs must be involved in protecting the environment because we are involved in destroying it. The energy produced in the world today, almost 40% of it are consumed by buildings. That's FMs. If we don't imbibe sustainability in the way we do our work, we will be part of fast-tracking the destruction of the globe, of the earth. Same thing with the waste that's generated. Almost 40% of all waste generation comes from the FM and construction industry. If we don't do it sustainably, we will not be professionals. Finance and business. Budgeting is proactivity. Business cases to get approval, we must learn and be able to implement. Providing supporting documentation to prove any case that we want to be advanced. Managing contracts, procurement, and chargebacks. So sometimes I hear of the FM saying things like, it was not captured in the contract. Who is able to capture it in the contract? Every contract, the scope of work, and the specific conditions of that contract are provided by the buying department, which is, in this case, the FM department. The procurement teams and legal teams, they add the boilerplate items, policies, procedures, terms, and conditions that are more general. So if you do not specify service levels, service specifications, and scope properly yourself, and you allow people in those departments to write the scope. I've seen a cleaning contract. It was to clean all the offices and make sure the office is always clean and there's no smell. It was just a one page of what somebody could just mumbo jumbo together. So when those cleaners tomorrow go into an office by 11 a.m. to tap bros, I beg, I won't clean this office, give me space, come out first. Will you say it is, they are violating their contract? Because you've not envisaged what the people in the offices will need to be doing. So you can do a proper specification that will give them maximum results and productivity and build that into your SLA. You allow other people to create contracts for you. Human factors. Be able to develop and implement practices that support performance and goals of the entire organization. Everybody that works in your organization are directly benefiting from the service you deliver. If people say, oh, I love this company, I don't love that company, this is a nice place to work, this place is not a nice place to work, the FM has more than 50% input in that. What's the ambience like? What's the feel inside the space? What's the comfort? How conducive is it? Do I feel threatened? Is my well-being being considered in decisions here? Your department that provides all of these services are the geese that lays the golden egg. If you treat them like trash, they will transfer that trash to the customers you are trying to protect. So training your team, encouraging diversity, mentoring them, and making sure that they have something to look forward to in their job is part of human factors as a competence in FM. Leadership and strategy. Should be able to lead your FM organization. Plan for your team, set goals, resolve conflicts, develop each person in the team is part of your leadership competence. Provide leadership to the entire organization using codes of conduct, working ethically, working with integrity. People say, the most corrupt organization is police. Police and NEPA are the most corrupt. I say it's a lie. Facility management is the most corrupt profession. Police It is the facility management inside police that is the corruption. Buying and selling. The transactions that go on in FM is many. That if you don't have high level of integrity, you will get all your fingers soiled. When somebody hears that your budget is 50 million naira, what goes on in the person's head should not be, this guy will buy a car this year. That's not what should go on in the person's head. Because the person should believe that you have integrity to use the 50 million naira for the organization, for the organization's purpose, and not to line your pocket. Code of conduct. You must be able to plan strategically, which means you must be able to develop strategic facility plan and facility master plans that helps to align that aligns with the path that your business is going. So if I'm a facility manager, I need to understand how my business is growing, expanding, so that I can create long-term plans to provide facilities that will help my organization to continue to succeed. Operations and maintenance. Won't say, oh, and everybody, oh, yes, this is what we do. These are bread and butter. But yet I go to facilities that they are doing operations and maintenance, they don't have asset register. They don't have condition survey, condition assessment is not done. They cannot do inspection and write scope of work adequately. These are things that you need to learn and start practicing because O&M is your core business. How do you define what your customers need? How do you survey your customers for their requirements for occupant services? It is going to be a maintenance contract. Will you depend on the contractor to write the scope for you, or can you research, start from what you require as an organization and develop a scope to put into the contractor's contract? Because most of the time you have issues with contracts, it's because you've allowed the outsider to be the one becoming the boss. They see you as not knowing what you are doing. And because they think you don't know what you are doing, they want to exploit it. And when you try to raise your head, they will begin to show you that they are the boss, because you give them the power already. Project management. You're able to plan projects, you're able to manage and oversee projects. The skills, the tools, the techniques for managing projects are straightforward. We in facility management did not need to reinvent the wheel on project management. We just adopt the Project Management Institute processes and standards. But what we now do is that we simplify the use of those process steps, because our projects may not be as complex. I may not be building a high-rise 20-story building. I may just be trying to plan the cleaning of the curtain wall as a project. Cleaning of the curtain wall in a 20-story building is a huge project. I cannot just say, I've awarded the contract. Of course, that's supposed to be a contract that should be detailed enough, but I've seen 2-page contracts for facade cleaning. And I don't understand why. Why you will not take time to analyze and break down the tasks that need to be done, specifications, quality expectations, HSE expectations for that job. You won't break it down. You just expect that they know what they should be doing. If an accident happens on your site, you are liable for that accident, even if you have contracted the job out. So using project management principles will help a lot. Quality. The FM should be able to oversee the creation and application of standards for the facility organization. How do you objectively measure what you are providing? You know, an FM can say, I know we are doing well. And the customer will say, no, you're not doing well. I'm not satisfied. And the burden of proof or burden of proving that you are doing well or not is not on the customer. It's on you. it starts with you being able to carefully understand what the customer wants, translate that information into objective standards and key performance indicators. Service levels. For example, a customer says, I want this place to be properly ventilated. I want to be comfortable when I'm inside here. You now ask the customer, how do you mean? Can you break it down for me? I don't want to be too hot. I don't want to be too cold. I also don't want to be starved of fresh air. Ah, okay, now I understand. Too hot, too cold. How can I translate that into objective description of what the customer wants? Check what 19 degrees feels like. Is this okay for you? Let's bring it down, 18. What if we raise to 23? Ah, no, this is hot. Bring it down to 21. Okay, this is okay. All right, fine. So if you provide between 18 and 21, will you be satisfied? Customer says, yes. You have translated not too hot and not too cold into an objective description that says, provide a ambient temperature of between 18 and 21 degrees Celsius. That's what should go as the standard for that space. Because if you're not able to use such descriptions, for example, somebody says, provide me electricity. What is your load size? Okay, you have a TV, how many watts? You have a fridge, how many watts? You have lights, how many watts per bulb? 50 bulbs. You have toilet that use light, you have water heater. You cannot just go and say, oh, yes, 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 run the wire to that place, connect it to everything, and that's it. No, 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 no. You want to know the load. You want to also find out if the power is fluctuating, how much fluctuation can this, you can give me power and I'll be angry every time I enter my house. Have you not provided power? Yes, but the power is blowing up things. Or it is so dim that I can't even use it for anything. Of what good is that power? I will complain now. And you will not say, this customer is safe. Their own is too much. And they are never satisfied. No matter what you do, you've not taken time to translate what they are trying to request objectively, so that you can now do a gap analysis between what you are providing and what they actually want. That's quality for you, customers. And there is also the part that has to do with statutory compliance when it comes to quality. You cannot be providing services and breaking the law. But it is not your job to tell a customer, this is the correct quality. You are not a judge of quality. The government judges quality and provides minimum standard in the building code. You cannot use latrine, for example. It's the building code. It's called open defecation. It's against the law, right? So if a customer ever wants it, you cannot help. The government says we cannot do that, right? So government has set a minimum standard. Above that minimum standard, it is now the customer's call. You cannot impress upon me that, oh, that toilet that washes itself, that warms up, that blows air to dry my bum bum is the best toilet. You can't tell me that now. If it is the 7,000 naira China typhoid that will change color within 3 months, that is what I want. At least you've explained to me that it will change color in 3 months and you may have to change it every year. I say, yes, I like it like that. That is quality at that time. Forget grade. Real estate and property management. Competent property manager is able to develop and implement the real estate master plan and also manage real estate assets. All of your leases, all of your tenancy agreements, being able to understand the terms. So you don't pay service charge and still be running maintenance costs that doubles. Understanding your portfolio footprint. Understanding how your portfolio is increasing. Total square meters, for example. How much of your spaces are leased versus owned, and so on and so forth. Must be able to plan, direct, and manage facility management, business, and operational technologies. Monitor trends in technology and innovation, conduct assessment and collaborate on facility management technology needs analysis, align FM technology with organizational information technology, assess the application of technology within facility operations, evaluate, implement, and operate integrated workplace management system. Add a BMS that combines CAFM, CMMS, and BAS. We'll talk about all of this in the technology class. But the bottom line is, you need to be abreast. You need to research. You need to know. It's not when a senior management executive now brings the idea, oh, I went to visit my friend's company and they are using this and using that. Go on, let's come and implement it in our company. No, that's not what you want to be. It means you are useless. That's why they will bring those ideas. You should be abreast of things. You should know when the time is to introduce certain things and management will buy into it. All right, so the FM could be involved in whether hard service or soft service. So, and FM doesn't need to be in charge of everything. We didn't just catering in FM. We didn't just security service in FM. We can just cleaning. There was one time I heard of a company that said they were not a plumbing company. I was like, okay, so what do you do? I said, well, we only do unblocking. So if you have blocked pipes, we'll come and unblock and we'll go. They don't do any other service. They just specialize in that area. That's their own FM solution they're providing. I worked in a company in Accra those days where the printers were all owned by some other organization. Virtually nothing in that office was owned by us. They meter everyone, you pay some monthly, you pay some per copy or whatever. There are service areas you can really look at. What do you expect as an FM for an FM career? We say the FM job is just like every other job, 40 hours job, right? But because we come to work not the same way others come to work, we don't come to work with them. We don't come to work like them. We come to work for them. We come to work because of them. We need to create schedules that helps us to provide our services to be as unobstructive as possible. So what am I saying? If people are at work, they close by 5. Me too, I close by 5. Does that mean I want to be painting the hall or the rooms where they are working the same time they are inside? Or am I going to tell them to leave or take a break so that I can do my job, so I can have that space back? I will most likely schedule those jobs to be done after hours. Am I going to get an overtime? Not likely. So as FMs, as you grow in your profession and you begin to create plans for the work you will do, you can actually make a case to HR and to management to have flexible work hours. That's becoming easier to listen to these days. But if you are not the one creating plans and you are not in charge of what you are doing, there's a likelihood that they will expect you to come by 8 and close by 5 or 6, whether you like it or not. In fact, if you want to stay extra, you are free. If you want to come Saturday and Sunday, it's an addition, but you must come by 8. That's because you are not in control of what you do. You are not showing output, you're not showing value. Because if you are doing that, they will know that you worked all Sunday and you're not going to come till 4 p.m. or 3 p.m. on Monday to just check on a few things. And that you're going to work all night Tuesday and you will not be around. You have a schedule because you have things to be done. And the FM job can be everywhere. Oh, it's a lot. Because you affect people's lives in more ways than they can count. from their security to their health and safety. Somebody stumbles on the stairwell, the FM has questions to answer. Water on the ground, chemical in the air, fainting spells from poor oxygen, the FM has questions to answer. So your business will spread in all directions. And then typically when you come into FM, you either start from the artisan level where you were either in cleaning or a technician or in some administrative position like receptionist. Those are the shop floor positions. And can now become a supervisor, a coordinator, and grow in that regard. And so I normally would advise that don't see yourself as someone who is here and that's where I will be. No. I've seen a cleaner in Julius Berger becoming a general manager over a 20-year career, consistently improving herself. So as a facility manager, you are more of a generalist, which means you must understand what needs to happen in multiple areas. Your job is to know how to identify the specialists, be able to bring them together, scope the work, supervise the work, report on the work, pay for service rendered, right? And then you are like a foreman in the construction site that manages multiple trades. On a higher level, you can become a specialist again when you are now no longer doing, general work. You are now a consultant in one field: energy efficiency, sustainability, environmental, recycling and waste management, and so on and so forth. And the FM job is varied, but never ever think of yourself as have to be an engineer. No, doesn't follow. But of course, that's part of it. So you have to be an engineer, you have to be an accountant, you have to be a maintenance person, you have to be a receptionist, you have to be everything, a bit of everything. And that's what makes you a master. So the FM will sometimes find himself working in the demand organization, which we call, also the client company is called the demand organization, or the FM company. So it's either you're working in the service provider, which is the FM company, or you're working in the demand organization. And the paths in these two types of organization are different. In fact, if you are in the FM company, you can easily rise to become a director. There seems to be no plateau. But in most client companies or demand organizations, you will definitely have some point that you cannot break through. For example, you are in a bank. They will not take you from FM to become head of marketing, head of risk, or head of IT. Those are the kind of people that they will put to become, or head of operations to become CEO tomorrow, right? So you get there and that's it. But which pays more? There's a likelihood that you get more money from the demand organization because they will pay you as a professional the way they pay other professionals. By the way, the FM company employs FMs and gives them experience across multiple opportunities. So an FM company, for example, could be managing a mall, a school, a residential estate, and so on and so forth. And as an FM in that company, there's a likelihood for you to be able to go experiencing that variety. Whereas in a demand organization, you're only going to experience your own organization. So that's one of the major disadvantages of working in demand organization. Whereas the advantage is really that you get money a lot more. Not too significant anyway, because I've seen FM companies that are paying 12 million a year to FMs in Lagos, not abroad. Talks about the hard and soft service differences in our previous classes. You can read up all of this. And I'm going to look at the forms of FM departments in the IFM class, which is coming up in a few weeks' time. I think I'll read up all of this. But the last thing I would like to dwell on is on the levels of FM operation. It's something I'm going to talk about maybe a couple of more times as we go on with this program. The FM will operate at the operational, tactical, and strategic level at different times in its career. Your goal is to rise as quickly as possible. When you're in the shop floor, when you are the cleaning supervisor, when you are the refuse manager, when you are the landscape supervisor and all that, you are at the operational level. You probably participate in budgeting, but you're not budget manager. You probably participate in some planning like rosters for workers, two bus talks and some training, but you are still at the operation. It's a day-to-day activity. Your focus is day-to-day fluency of operations. At the tactical level, you are responsible for budgeting, for putting contracts in place, for screening contractors, evaluating them, getting them to work, deploying technology, investing in time in designing training and writing your asset register together with your other processes to put in place. At the strategic level, you are doing a lot of resource planning and allocation. You are taking decision on direction, like mission, vision, goals, strategic goals. The effort put in at the strategic level is small compared to the performance or outputs that comes from that level. So one person could be a strategy or a small committee. But if they are doing their job well, the impact on the entire team and organization is going to be huge compared to when you have an operational team that are trying their best to work and people at the top at strategic level are not deploying any strategy. That system will be in shambles. Is it hotter at the top? Is it cooler at the top? I can assure you from my own experience that it's cooler at the top. But how do you get to the top? It takes some heat, serious thinking, analysis, and leadership. If, as you are doing your operational rosters and bringing your bills for buying this and buying that, you are also able to do a projection of how your costs has been affected by certain decision patterns over the last 2-3 years, and advise me on how we can make some changes in our processes so that we can begin to bring down these costs. For example, it will be very highly likely that you'll be moved up. To be like the story of Pharaoh and Joseph. If you are the one that can interpret the dream, who better to implement it? So for freshers here, the first thing you need to do now is work on your CV. There's a whole CV class. I think what I will do is I will share my last class CV class video with your class. I want you to read it, go through that video as quickly as you can, and start working on your CV or your resume. If Barakat is here, please take this as a task to give this class access to the CV review video. I need a confirmation. Okay, great. So it's very important. After we review that video, each person review that video, we're going to have a discussion on it at some other time. I'm going to give you, we're going to need to take a break for the discussion. We just have 20 minutes. All right, let's start with your questions and let's have a discussion. I already have one hand up. You can hit it straight away, Daniel.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening. Actually, I was actually a little attracted or interested in that explanation you were giving about the difference between working in an FM parent company and working in a client's company. I just wanted you to reiterate a bit about it more again,
okay,
just for a clearer perspective also.
Mm-hmm. Okay, for some of us that worked on both sides of the coin, like I put it, we have the best of both worlds in terms of experience. At one side, you are screening contractors, you are awarding jobs, you are a budget owner. At the other side, you are begging for work, you are trying to prove you can do it. You are trying to prove something, right? Now, who is hungrier to learn and improve? Most likely the contractor side. You will develop. You are being dropped from one deep end to another deep end. I give you the example of being removed from airport to hospital. You are in fact, you have to relearn everything you have learned in the airport, learn it out and relearn the hospital. And if perchance you get a chance to work in a bank facility, another learning again. Just imagine if you pass through 3 or 4 of such experience in 10 years, you become a real guru in FM. Whereas you could be in one insurance company or one hospital all your career. All you know is going to be based on that particular industry and that client. So your experience level and depth and knowledge will be limited. There are so many ways to look at it. And I talk about the money side, right? If you work as I was on the contractor side when in Shell, right? The kind of work I was doing strategically and the position I was in and reporting at the level as I was reporting, people that were on the Shell side doing the same strategy work like I was doing from the contractor side will be earning like 10 times what I earn. But I am the one that when we come to learn FM, they will sit in the room for me to teach them. That's the truth. So I won't say stay on this side or stay on that side. No, I won't encourage that. Get a bit of both sides before you are retired.
Hello?
Yes.
You will agree with me that most people grow in their careers based on their drive. Some are just driven by the economics of it, while some are driven by the passion of it, of what they want to gain or what they want to do after.
Yes, yes. And many people, and that's one thing I try to do in this program. You can't pass through this program, finish, and not have a plan laid out for your future. Many people just say, find me work now. When you find them work, I'm working today. They don't know what the next step should be. They work and work and work until that work stop. They say, find me work, any work I will do. You can't do that with your life. And because you don't have that plan, you won't have a drive. You won't know what you're fighting for. But once you are here, as you're passing through this now, you will be getting a clearer picture of what the industry looks like. You'll be pitching yourself, you'll be creating your own plan. You'll know that if I go from some of your past graduates, I'm the one begging them, please don't move yet. Stay in this your job for at least 2 years, 3 years. Hold it. Let's see some stability in your CV. Otherwise, before 1 year, they're already being called for, come and work, come on. If it is the money you are looking for, you will jump like frog. Because when vacancies show up at the top, there's no other pool than to pull you who have been trained. You understand? So the pool is almost, but try to maintain some level of stability at some point, so that somebody will say, oh, he worked there for at least 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. He gained some stability. He learned something. He did something like a trust achievement. Then he now moved to the next one. So even if you're applying to a move, let it not be sporadic. Somebody's hand was up. Was that Chimeze? No. Okay, Emmanuel Egbuaba. Did I pronounce that name correctly? Pronounce your name, let me hear.
No, you did not. You just murdered my name.
So sorry. I pronounced it, let me hear it.
Igboaba.
Igboaba.
Igboaba, yes.
Igboaba.
Yeah, my Igbo brothers in the house will understand that better. So my question goes back to education and qualification.
Yes.
We spoke about certification. So I wanted to know the certifications you were talking about. Like I know for a fact of essentials, the essential IFMA certification. Would you say after doing this, would you say after doing the Max-Migold FFMC, is it higher than the essentials, or can one actually go next to write that one too?
No, the essentials. By the time you are done with this, you've passed essentials level.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so that's
if you finish with the FMMC and you want to go in the next level, is the FMP.
Okay. So back then, also with that question too. So the FMP, does Max-Migold offer training for that?
What we do for the FMP is we are not a training center for the FMP. We only sell the self-study, online self-study.
Okay.
Yeah, which is a discounted form. So instead of paying 1 million for the classroom, and you decide that you want to read the books and do the test online in your privacy, you can get it for like $850. So that's something that you can look forward to. Okay.
So sorry, I'm taking a lot of time. Just another question. The RICS.
Yes.
So I think what I got from the explanation you gave, you said that it is higher than the CFM.
The MRICS, yes, it's higher than the CFM.
Than the CFM. Okay, but you also said that you could actually have CFM and get into the MRICS. Yes.
So many of us that have CFMs were not quite impressed when that appraisal and pairing of certifications were done. Okay. We felt that the kind of rigor we go through to get our CFM, it's a rigorous exam that you pass through, which tests a lot of your experience and your ability to think and analyze. So for us to go through that, and you now say it is less than MRICS, which is done by appraisal. You write some projects, you submit some panel interviews you, and decide that you're ready for the MRICS. We weren't quite impressed for many of us. So instead of coming to take the ASOC RICS, which is the associate of RICS, to say, oh, well, I have my CFM, just add that since it's the same level, right? I decided to go for the appraisal. I wrote my projects. I did everything to get my MRICS.
Okay.
So in the industry and professionally, RICS, being a bigger, more reputable organization, was able to play the big brother and put MRICS above CFM.
Okay. One more question. The registration into the membership, the Association for Facility Professionals in Nigeria, how does that work? Like, is there a requirement apart from the fact that we are just entry? Most of us are entry levels. Can anybody just enter?
Yes. So for now, we've not started classifying membership. All of us, including myself, who is the national deputy president of the council, I am a member. Just like if today you pay your 10K registration fee, you are a member, the same category as me. Okay. Because we just started. in about a year or two's time, we'll all now need to come up with our training and qualifications in FM and our experience so that we can go through certain screening to get classified. So those who are entering now are getting certificate of membership, which is equal for everybody.
Oh, okay, okay.
I will give you a link on your group to the website, facility management.ng or so. I'll put it, I manage that website as well. And then I'll also drop the Telegram group where we all belong. I encourage all of you to join that Telegram group. I know some of you are also in our training Telegram group. I'll put that there as well. Join the training Telegram group, join the Nigeria FM Initiative Telegram group, and then register online in the website and pay into Zenith Bank and send your evidence of payment to the membership at facilities.com.ng. Once you do that, the membership committee and the directorate will process it and send you a certificate online as well by email. Okay. And then we have general meetings. We have a massive Africa-wide conference coming up in Abuja in November. You'll be able to get discounted tickets to that learning opportunities. It's an international conference.
Okay, so if I join IFMA, the international body, can I just, okay, sorry, I think the question is the other way around. If I was to join the Nigerian Association, does that give me an automatic pass to joining IFMA in terms of the international body? Or you still have to register separately for that one too?
In fact, if you join IFMA Nigeria chapter, they'll not even give you membership to IFMA International. To join the national body, 10K. To join IFMA Nigeria, 50K for starting and 15K every year. It's still higher than national body. National body is a young organization. IFMA Nigeria is since 1997 or so. So it's a mature organization. That's the chapter. To join IFMA International, I think it's $270. Convert that to Naira, let me know.
There's no need. Okay, we'll get there. So
now 40,000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm sorry the whole class for asking.
No, go ahead. We're all enjoying the discussion. If we'll get to other turn.
I think I'll go back to the FM skills and competencies, the FM skills. I wanted to ask, in terms of procurement and negotiation, what quick tip or what kind of advice could you give towards improving one's negotiation skills? Because we are all in Nigeria. We have contractors who would always want to raise their cost of service high. So I don't know, is there a quick tip or a tip you could advise for those of us who don't have good negotiation skills on how to proceed with that? I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. How to improve on your negotiation skills, I think that's the
work out the market as much as possible.
Sorry?
Work out the market as much as possible.
Okay, nice one.
We sit in the office so tight that we don't even know that the price of flush handle has gone up, or the price of something in the market has come down, or there's a new version. You know, you could be buying a light fitting for 11,000, right? And in the market, there's a new version that fits it perfectly that will do the same job. That is 2.5. You will not know. When your contractor switch to the cheaper one, they will not tell you.
Okay.
So market survey is the key. Okay. Because if you get a sense of what it is in the market, you can automatically know where a contractor is overbilling or is being fair. Because I don't encourage FMs to try to squeeze contractors. No. Don't squeeze contractors. If you cannot get it for 50,000, why do you expect contractor will give it to you for 45? You yourself, with your 50K in your hand, you cannot get it. You want the man to supply it to you with his money and be paid 45. How? Why?
Okay, thank you. I think that's all. Thank you.
Right, sir, please, sir, this is Francis. And I also think if you try to squeeze a contractor,
yes,
maybe in Nigerian perspective. Of course, an Igbo man will tell you we still do the job, but you will regret it. So it's better. But I think the best or one of the good practice.
Don't call you Bowman here.
I'm sorry. I'm just no. My wife is Igbo and she's here, so I'm just using that.
You said better thing.
Exactly, sir. Thank you. I'm really better thing. So I'm saying, I think a good practice would be a line item. So I used to work in the procurement department in Saipem. I was not a buyer, but I think I learned so much. What they do when we discover this kind of issues that my Oga raised about squeezing contractors or trying to negotiate. So we came up with a line item solution. So we bring 3 contractors to give us their quotations, maybe for items to be bought. And we do a line item. We choose out of maybe 20 items. We choose the best from each of them with the prices. And we come to you and say, guy, we've seen this thing. We want to give you this job that you quoted 50,000, but we've seen another person quoting 35. But because most of all other items are good from you, we want to give you, but we must reduce this one to 35. They will still agree.
Yeah, sure.
Then you will have this knowledge of, oh, this is actually the price.
Yeah.
We are not shooting too high.
Sure.
So I'm saying that. But for my questions, sir, I have 2 questions and 1 comment. The first question is a facility manager supposed to study project management too?
Yes.
In a full capacity, or just have the knowledge?
Because you need to use project management tools in facility management. That's a skill. You must acquire that skill. So it's not to become a PMP, for example.
Yeah.
No,
yes.
no, it's not.
Okay.
Take project management training that you can adapt those process steps into your project in FM.
Okay. Okay. So the second question, you talked about integrity and competency the other time. So does competency means professionalism in deliverables or just to deliver? Because in my own case, like I used to call myself a novice that have street wisdom. I deliver almost every project I've done and the customers are okay with it, but I'm not a professional of anyone. So does it mean that I have to be professionals in all of this or just deliver? That is the key.
Okay, so the thing about deliver is this: if you don't have processes that can be replicated, right?
Yes.
If we are not able to replicate what your successes are when you are not there, we cannot ascribe what you are doing to success, professional success. So all of those professional, all those documentation, all those analysis, all those records we talk about, all those processes for doing things are the professionalism that when you have them in place and you are delivering, then yes, you are delivering professionally, like you said. But if you don't have them in place and you still manage to get people to be satisfied with whatever you are doing, you are using managing customer expectations at that point. Because what's happening is that customers are accepting what you are delivering does not mean that you are giving best practice at that time.
Okay.
Yeah, so you need to be professional as well. But the point I was making with that comment about leading your bosses is that if your boss has to correct what you do all the time, he will not have confidence in you.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to get to. When people say things like, I have not been taught how to do this, and nobody has shown me before. I mean, for goodness sake, we are all adults here. You get a task, you find a way to do it well.
Yeah.
I challenge my staff, you come a laptop, oh, this laptop has stopped working. I say, what have you done to get it to work? I'm not IT now. I can fire you for that kind of statement. So you cannot even go to YouTube and Google screen black or keyboard not working or something and see whether solutions are already there. Common sense. Yeah, it's not working. I'm not IT. Sorry, chaos.
So my comments are.
Okay, last one.
My comments, can we say a facility manager is a jack of all works, knowledgeable in all?
Yes,
It's
jack of
possible to
all
say-
trades and master of all.
I don't want to say, okay, if you say master of all, then I have to be master in electricity,
Yes, you're a master.
electrical.
There's a difference
plumbing.
between master and specialist.
Okay.
An electrician is a specialist, shop floor.
So yeah, so master is just
A
dealing with
master understands the problem that needs to be solved, knows the kind of electrician that can do it, knows the scope of work that the electrician needs to implement, can supervise that job well, and can report on the success of that job. He's not the one that does it. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. All right, Chaos, last question and last comment. Okay, Chaos is not there. All right, thanks everybody. I hope you've all had a good time. See you again on Saturday. I don't think I'm the one teaching on Saturday, am I? Moses.
We have questions in the comments.
Should we vote on whether to listen to you or not?
We have questions in the chat.
Questions in the chat. Oh, let me see. What is the connection or difference between a contract manager and a facility manager? Okay. These are all designation issues. If you're a facility manager who is in charge of a contract, you can be a contract manager and also a facility manager, right? So contract manager is more like an administrative head of a client's portfolio. If you have a contract to manage 12 branches of a bank, for example, you could have an FM in each branch, and you could have somebody in charge of the P&L, the profit and loss of that contract, and call him a contract manager. He's a supervisor or coordinator of all the FMs. He could also be a regional FM in charge of those 12 FMs. But since that is a client's portfolio, he's in charge of it, you say he's a contract manager. Just the same way you have a property manager and an FM in a mall or a commercial building. One is in charge of transactions, the other one is in charge of day-to-day running. At what point are we getting the videos for the classes? We explain this again and again. After the first 10 or so classes, those who are not owing tuition will start receiving access to videos. Those who are owing tuition will have to try and speed up their payment process so you can get the videos. And I promise to give you access to videos of your class and previous classes, okay? You have a question or comment?
Okay. Yeah, I have a question.
Okay.
Okay. So it's in terms of people management. Now, because of the kind of jobs that I do, sometimes I feel it's difficult to, some people, it goes back to the communication and all that. Why some people is easy for you to communicate with. You can just tell them 1 + 1 is 2 and they get the job done. Why some you have to keep explaining and explaining. So what I just want to ask, is it good to keep dropping those people and work with people that is easy to communicate with? Because at the end of the day, you cannot go back to your client and say it's because of, because you are the whole face and they don't care, they just want the job to be done.
Yeah,
so I don't know if there's a way to communicate to people who find it hard to get things done. Some people are very good, I have people that are very good, but to get them to do it the way you want them to do it is always a problem. So I just drop them most times.
So instead of dropping them, the first thing is to evaluate yourself.
Okay.
How are you communicating? Sometimes we don't have patience for people who are not very well developed in brain and mind. And because we don't have patience for them, it reflects in the way we approach them. After 1 or 2 flaws, our demeanor towards them changes completely. They become completely demotivated by our way of responding to them. We become more snappy. and they become more jittery. You understand? And they begin to lose more confidence and self-esteem. So the first effort is to look at yourself and say, for this person, did I understand this person's level? Did I come to this person's level? Instead of having one level for everybody, ask myself, how can I invest time in understanding each person's level? How can I communicate specifically to each person differently according to their level? That is the only work you need to do right now. There are some people that I can just tell A, B, C, D. As they leave, they will write everything. They will come back to me and check with me that everything they've written is correct, right? I will edit, correct, and they will go and implement it perfectly. There are some that will not even bother to write and they will still do it perfectly. They're higher level. There are those that I will have to, after talking to them, I will still write by myself. After writing the specification by myself, I'll give it to them. I'll still come and supervise them inside again. I'll have to go to them 3-4 times compared to the follow-up I do on the next person. It's now for me to know how to balance my efforts according to it. I can't keep dropping people. Look, let me tell you something about FM profession. The death of artisans and professionals is going to get worse. We are entering into an economic boom. In the next 3 to 5 years, we are going to walk into a real estate boom. The demand for facility managers, technicians, and artisans is just going to, it's going to top. And capacity to meet those requirements, I don't see it. I'm not saying it. I should be having 300 people, 500 people in this class to be sure that there is hope that that scarcity will not last too long. But with this 25 people in class, I can tell you that the demand is going to keep popping high and there'll be a big problem. So if you have people you can work with, invest in them, don't drive them. Away.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yeah, from the FM skills you've listed below, I've offered some of the courses, and what I can notice is the foreign approach is different from African approach, especially in Nigeria. How can we balance the foreign approach, Nigerian approach? Is there any techniques or any?
There is no foreign approach, no Nigerian approach, unless you have specific examples you want to give me.
Let's say in terms of time management, sometimes if you have as many tasks as you have, it's what you can explain to your boss. I'm having so tasks, and these are my priority list. Not until I finish this, that's when I'm picking up. But a white man can still reason with you, but a black boss will tell you, no, leave all this thing now. We have so emergency now. You have to stand up from there, and what you plan to do initially has been obstructed due to the command from it might not be the boss fault. It might be a management, maybe the management requested from something from the boss, and in which he has to deliver ASAP. And now, from the instruction received from the management, he has to direct it to you that, okay, do this. If so, also all the things you'll be doing.
There is interference. There is interference.
Hello?
It's from our West End. So the point is this: you cannot have a priority that conflicts with that of your bosses. You see all that planning you have done, super. It is because you don't fully understand your bosses and what their priorities will be that your plans are clashing with. Okay, so switching away from what you have to do the emergency or urgent work they are giving you now, be recording how frequently that happens. Be tracking how often that happens. If it happens too many times, revisit how you plan. Getting them to be part of your plan and understanding what you're planning to do.
So I'll just call them.
Christian, that will be the last. We've pushed this class for 10 minutes.
Okay. Let's swap. You understand?
We won't let you speak again because your place is really, an active discussion is going on behind you. Christian, 1 minute, quick.
Okay, thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak. I believe you all can hear me, right?
Sure.
Yes. Well, I just want to explain my own case. Here where I'm actually working. So I'm actually the facility manager here. So I usually have a constant problem with my MD. But I think my MD doesn't really have confidence in me. But my GM, general manager, has full confidence in me. Do you know why? Because every problem that has actually arisen in the facility, I've been able to solve them. I've been proactive in solving problems. I've been proactive in coming up with solutions to problems. So, but I don't know, my MD, if you check from my work performance evaluation, you'd find out that there's absolutely nothing that I've not done here. There's absolutely nothing. Now, let me just say this to everyone. Well, I came into this industry with little or no experience. He employed me with little or no experience. And then after a while, I've been able to catch up and I've been able to act accordingly, like a professional. Like if you interact with me or you come to my facility, there's nothing or there's no problem that would come up that I will not be able to give you, full-time analysis as to how to solve this problem and to prevent the same problem from reoccurring. So my GM has been able to give me commendable, comments in respect to my, performance. Like, Christian, you're this, you're that. You have your reporting skills is top notch and all that. So I see the reason why my MD is still having issues with me, because the things he chastised me over are things that I think I don't see them as problem. Maybe he just walked past and then he saw maybe a debris on the floor. He'll be like, after all, they say I have a maintenance or facility manager. Why is this debris here? Well, I say I have an housekeeping supervisor. So I've given them the responsibility already to be able to make sure that
Stop already.
Stop
already, Christian.
Okay.
If I let you finish your statement, I'll have to fire you from that job.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
Let me tell you, when the chips are down, the MD is the company. Your GM is just on the wayside. Do you hear me?
True.
So you need to just calm down, and try and remember as many things as possible that your MD has complained about in the last 1 year. And make proactive plans to make sure such things don't exist. Look, there is no supervisor when there's a cockroach under the stairwell. It's you. Yeah. Even if you're a director of facilities, an MD will not call a cleaner and say, why is that cockroach there? I will send you a query to your high office for that one cockroach. Yeah. What standards do you have? What standards are you implementing here? What is the procedures and process you are putting in place for cleaning that the cleaners are not following? That I cannot see a cockroach under the stairwell. Are you getting what I'm saying? Yeah. If the cleaners are not cleaning well, the supervisor is not cleaning well, what have you done about it? So, my dear, it's a big discussion you wanted to start now. But I need to just tell you first and foremost, to just erase from your head that you can have a disagreement with your MD. Forbid that thought. Banish it completely. Banish it completely. Oh. It's not just about that MD or that company. Think from the top. Every FM, if you are listening to me now, think from where? The top. The way the highest person in the organization thinks, that's how you should start thinking.
Yeah, sure.
If he has the slightest concern, your priority will be not to sleep until you have resolved that concern authoritatively, totally, that he will not be the one saying, oh, wow, there's been a turnaround around here. You know that you have a GM who probably sees value in problem came about and you fixed it. The miracle of Babalawo approach. And you have an MP who does not want to hear that there was problem.
Yeah.
I get what I'm saying. The doctor that like to treat with injection and surgery, and the doctor that want to give vaccine to make sure there's no illness. They are the two strategies that the people are using to assess you. Don't get carried away. Your GM being impressed because of your swift reaction, for me, is a failure. That's his level of understanding. Your MD is way superior in FM strategy implementation. He's using the vaccine and prevention approach, the proactive approach, the systems approach. We went for one interview, and one guy wanted to impress us that he's the best for us to employ. You know what he told us? He said, it's me that runs this place. If light goes off now, you see me running helter-skelter. We burst into laughter. All the entire panel laughed. He thought we were laughing to hail him for running helter-skelter. We are looking for FM that don't run helter-skelter. Things don't break. So your GM right now likes running helter-skelter to fix things. Your MD does not want to hear that you even run helter-skelter.
At all, yeah? You're right.
So you need to align back to your MD and start running helter-skelter. All right, thanks everybody. I hope you had a good time.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Sir, I dropped the chat and it's not been attended to.
A chat again. I did now. Okay, when the FM, I said the FMC, I said FMD, that's the designation, is coming. We're working on it. Everybody that's qualified since 2017 will get the FMD once we get the accreditation we're working on. And the FMP, you can take it now if you want. Don't even bother to wait. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye, sir.